Acknowledge me.
You just made the list.
I am the BEST.
I'm better than you, and you know it. Damn.
Welcome back to Down Under the Mat podcast here in Madison Square Garage, around the pool table of relevancy. To my left, Mr. Daniel Danielson. To my right, Rowdy Reece. I nearly said to my rowdy, to my right. I am Booker Ted, and we're here for another episode of Down Under the Mat podcast. It is the week after WrestleMania.
How are we feeling?
I'm worn out. I know this man is.
It's a new season, a new era.
Yeah.
Because you've been off work since Mania, haven't you?
I have,
He has.
yeah, but I also haven't
The
stopped
piece of
doing
shit.
things since
No.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So.
No.
So you haven't really had like relaxed time.
I haven't had relaxed time. No, I went to Sydney, saw some family. I've been
some
to
concerts.
a couple of concerts, some footy games.
That's me next week. I've got a concert next week, and then I got 2 concerts the week after.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I got my nice little Incubus merch for those that know of Incubus. I saw Incubus and Live on the Wednesday, and then I saw Sleep Token and Bring Me the Horizon on the weekend. So,
Sleep Token!
yeah, very, very busy weekend, very loud. My ears still hurt a little bit.
Mate,
That's why you wear the headphones.
That is why I wear
you need to
headphones.
get yourself some loops.
I probably should buy some loops,
Dude,
to be fair.
like as someone who goes to concerts like all the time, the second I put them in, I was like, I cannot go to a concert without having these anymore.
Then again, though, I am old, so I bought seating tickets. I wasn't standing up or washing for any of this sort of stuff. So
The joys of getting old.
There was-
You know, this might be a bit of an overshare,
no, please do.
but I'll tell you how I know I'm getting old. It's because I pulled a muscle in my hand wiping my backside the other day.
Really,
I'm not even joking.
I know a guy who can get you a bidet off Amazon, and you can just
Maybe,
use
man,
that
I might
instead.
need one. Seriously, my thumb. I pulled a muscle in my
be
thumb.
careful, because like if you play with the buttons, it'll make you look like you wet yourself.
That's only if you don't know how to use it properly,
That's
Reece.
very true.
That was me.
I maybe shouldn't just wipe so aggressively, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, that always comes back to the question, like, how does Otis wipe his ass?
I don't think he does it.
Like,
Did you get someone else to do it? Is that what Maxine's for?
Don't, no.
Oh, don't-
Don't you talk about Maxine like that. She's
No,
well
I
above
don't
that.
mean like, is that all she's for? I just meant like, is that...
Is that why Candace calls her shit all the time?
Oh, that's rough.
Candace knows.
Maxine she's above that.
Maxine
Well above
Dupoo!
She's well above that. All right, let's get into all the other wrestling instead of making fun of the lovely Maxine. Look, a lot has happened since Mania. A lot happened before Mania as well, and we didn't really get to talk about everything because, you know, we had a 2-hour podcast. If you haven't listened or seen it yet about WrestleMania, go check it out.
And if
I know
you
a lot of
have,
you already have.
appreciate the time to actually go and watch
Just
it.
give us a like and a comment. Tell us
Yeah, just
what
let
your
us know
favourite
you
match
think.
was.
Let us know what you think and what you thought of Mania. But we've got a bit to cover, not too much, but I think there's a couple of subjects that we're going to spend a little bit of time on. I'm sure our viewers
They'll
at
probably be
home can guess
half the
as to
show.
what ones we're going to talk about. But first of all, I just wanted to cover over, obviously, weekend just gone, STARRCAST in Ballarat wrapped up, which was the Australian Stampede with Bret Hart, by Mickey James happened as well, and then I believe they also had meet and greets and everything else
They did, yep.
on the Sunday.
My social media has been flooded with things making me jealous.
Very jealous, and I believe they announced that they might OPW will be back.
OPW's doing another show in Ballarat in August.
Yeah,
Why Ballarat?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Pick somewhere else.
Probably
Canberra.
they've struck a deal with the Victorian government, but I
must
don't
do.
think it's going to be
There's-
another international type event. I think it's
Yeah.
just going to be like a
Yeah.
Australian.
But there's
based
plenty of
event.
other places in Victoria than Ballarat too. Yeah, you know, Wangaratta, Albury, somewhere.
Mate, there's plenty of other places in
Close to the
Australia other
border.
than Victoria. Yeah.
That too.
Come on.
We did go to Perth, so we shouldn't be complaining about
Hey,
not going to
that was a
Ballarat.
special occasion for
That was
mummy,
for mummy.
okay?
That was for mummy.
It was for mummy.
We'll go anywhere
Just
for mummy.
mummy.
But look, some of the points from it that the Backslide Girls are the inaugural
Saw that.
women's tag champions of
belts, Kingsley.
OPW, and they were presented the belts by Bull Nakano herself,
Yep.
the Hall of Famer, recent Hall of Famer.
Yep.
So very, very cool, and congratulations to the girls. That's absolutely awesome. The other sad news for Slam, the very reputable wrestler Dan Archer unfortunately lost his match to the Slam champion Luke Watts.
Was it by the 270 degrees of knees?
I don't know.
I would assume so.
Dan?
I mean, look,
I mean,
I'm sure
Ted,
Dan
that's
Archer
Ted.
would agree with me that more than likely, and I don't. This was a dark match, so I don't think
reckon
there's
Luke
actually any
cheated
footage.
to
I
win.
bet he cheated. I
Yeah.
bet he did.
Was it a
100%.
dark match?
Yes,
It was
it
a
was.
dark match.
It was a dark match.
No, he definitely cheated.
So I guarantee you that he was robbed, and he should get another title shot. He's a very
Speaking
reputable
of Rob,
wrestler.
your mate Robbie Eagles beat Kushida.
They did say that in the rematch he wants to do in the US or Japan.
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And speaking, if we stick to Slam as well and keep on to local stuff, unfortunately, Sleck's the business, and this obviously affected StarCast
Well, I'm not
as
cheering
well.
for that, but I'm cheering for what's about to come.
I believe he was not medically cleared. I'm not sure on the
No.
injury that
was not
Slex
medically
has, but he
cleared, yeah.
unfortunately missed out on wrestling Shelton Benjamin. So Tommy Knight stepped
up.
in.
Sick.
And in saying that, Tommy Knight is actually the next challenger for the Slam Heavyweight Championship.
In a no disqualification match.
Dude,
It's going to be sick.
It's gonna
I'm
be-
pumped. I want it to be May 25th already.
it's only just over a month away.
Yeah, I know. It's
It'll-
getting
it'll
close.
come. But
Getting close.
but also what I'm keen for, because it does mean unfortunately we don't get Slex versus Mikey Broderick.
We got a good replacement though.
But Adam Brooks,
Love Brooksy, man.
who also just wrestled at StarCast, I believe.
I believe he's
He
still the OPW heavyweight champion.
I mean, he's been a champion for a while.
Because I know he beat Robbie Eagles for it, Impact Down Under.
Oh, that was
I
last
watched
year.
that live.
Did he wrestle? Did he wrestle Moose at StarCast? I don't
No,
know.
no,
We're
wasn't-
terrible wrestling
Wasn't
fans.
Moose
We are terrible.
wrestling Josh
Josh
Alexander?
Alexander, yeah.
Look, can I just tell you, if you want to get a full rundown of what happened, the boys over at Australian Wrestling Radio were there, and they've actually already released an episode. So go check out our mates at Australian Wrestling Radio.
I did see Alicia Fox won her match. First time she's wrestled in 2 years, and she beat Mickey James.
Oh, did she?
Wow. Okay.
But it's not Alicia Fox
Mickey
anymore.
putting
It's
over the
No.
young talent.
whatever.
Crow? Something Crow?
Vix Crow.
Vix
Vix
Crow.
Crow,
Yes, there we go. I was on the right track.
Yeah.
But look, very
Close
cool.
enough.
I mean, look, we'll try and see if we can make a way to Ballarat at some point to see some of this, but
I think
Yeah,
from
bit tough.
from my perspective, from what I've seen on all the social media stuff, I was more excited by seeing all the wrestlers' photos and all the stuff they were doing backstage with everybody. It was really cool. I loved seeing the photo of all the girls there that were down there with
Yeah.
Mickey James, and the one where they all had them with Great Khali.
oh yeah, I saw that. Did
Oh, I
you
haven't seen that one.
see?
Dude, there's a photo with like Lena Cross where
I
she's
forgot he was coming down.
almost
you,
up to
you
the-
realize how tall Lena is,
she's
right?
she's on her tippy toes for sure.
I reckon
She's on her tippy toes. She has
not,
to.
She's
Like,
not as short as most of the other girls.
She is.
though.
She's taller than all the other girls, but she's not as tall as the Great Khali.
No.
No, I don't think anyone is, mate. And let's be honest, Great Khali, I think, has shrunk a little bit as well, man. There's,
Yeah,
That's probably all his
gravity's
best
just
problem.
bringing
yeah,
him
but
down.
you know, the knees, mate. The knees. When you're carrying that kind of weight around.
They've mowed in so much, he's lost height.
Yeah, poor bugger. It can't be easy being that big.
No.
Seriously.
You'd start
It never is for, like, just look at Big
Omos.
Show.
Omos would be the same traveling around.
Almost looks like he's,
Almost as younger too.
yeah, like that's the
lot
thing.
younger.
Like, wait for him to get a bit older, he'll potentially turn out like Big Show. Like, Big Show's just a
Yeah.
walking
So
S.
sad.
Yeah, he's That's sad
it's
about
so bad.
But look, going back, StarCast looks like it was,
What's fun?
it was lots of fun.
Yeah.
As I said, go check out. There are videos online. I believe there's actually videos you can get on Fight TV as well. if
Yeah,
you actually
they've got
wanna go back
both
and watch it.
shows up
Oh, cool.
on Fight TV. So maybe one time when we're bored, we can.
Well,
Check it
we
out.
also know someone that has a Fight TV subscription, so we can just ask them.
Oh, there we go.
can
Let's do
Tee us
that.
up. No, it's not me.
No, it's not me either.
It's not fucking me.
What are you talking? I don't have any friends. I don't know what he's talking about.
It's all right,
I know no one. I know.
We'll discuss this one off air.
off air.
I feel
we'll take it
offended.
offline. Into the international news.
Oh, I think I just clicked on to what you meant.
John Marksley wins the
Say it properly.
IWGP. Oh, sorry.
Are we gonna break the microphones
Yeah,
again?
probably. No, these ones are much better. They actually cut it out. John Moxley, he won the IWGP heavyweight title.
He fixed that really awkward day.
It was 5 days.
5 days,
5
where there
days.
were no members of the Shield as champion
Yep.
for the first time since 2020.
Yeah, so they were just like, no, we can't have that.
Yeah, so they just gave him a title.
And then
I mean,
I
you say
believe-
since 320, that's just Roman.
And I'm not sure where it was, but there was or maybe
Literally.
Cody was backstage at the show or something because he was. they
No,
got
that's a Photoshop photo.
Was it
Photoshop.
Photoshop? Was
Yeah,
it?
no, it was
they
his
got
man.
me. They got me.
You can look at it
Well, I
and you can
looked at
see
it.
the AEW title behind the IWGP
Yeah,
title.
right. Because I looked at it and I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
I looked at it and I was like, oh. And then I looked at it closer and I was like, oh, Photoshop.
Nah, there you go.
I think this makes Moxley, though, the first person, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, to ever hold the WWE title, the AEW title,
Yeah.
and now the IWGP heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Because I know Cody and AJ are the only two that have held the WWE and the NWA titles.
Yep.
So
Well, they're the only active wrestlers.
active. Yeah, sure.
Buddy Rogers and Ric Flair also did that.
Yeah, they're not active. Well, Ric
Well,
Flair's
that's what I
technically
meant,
active if you really want to talk about it.
No.
Staying on John Moxley, and congratulations to him.
Yeah,
It's
I guess.
a good accolade. But Johnny himself is not feeling too good, I think.
No.
In terms of
Have you seen?
his happiness levels? I don't.
I
See,
mean, look,
like the little paragraph rant that he did.
haven't really paid
still
too
being
much attention
an
this week, but-
underappreciated
Yeah.
wrestler, even though he's been
underutilized, underappreciated, all those kinds of things. Very similar to what the Hardys we've been talking about, pretty much.
I would argue that point against Mox. I think Mox can be a really good wrestler, but I think he has divulged himself into a death match. I have to bleed and everything. I have to stick something in my head every match kind of wrestler. And yeah, that person
first photo we saw of him
covered
holding
in
that
blood.
title. He was covered in blood.
Yep.
Right.
But the other thing was, and Rowdy and I were talking about this while we were very patiently waiting
Oh,
for you
thanks,
to
boys, so
arrive
much.
down
Yep.
back from the
ETA
holiday.
4:30.
One of the things that gets me is he's got exactly what he asked for when he went to AEW. So in the sense of he wrestles the matches he wants, so he bleeds whenever he wants, and he wrestles his types of matches the way he wants to do it. He wrestles who he wants, right? He then also wanted to go and break that forbidden door that they always talk about and go wrestle in all the different promotions.
And he's been in
which he's
CMLL,
also done
yeah.
and continues to do. He just won the IWGP title, for Christ's sake. I don't get why are you complaining about what you asked for. I think that's what gets me is he's literally doing what he wanted. And now he's saying that he's underappreciated and underutilized. Like,
I think part
I
of
don't
it
get
could
it.
be maybe like you look at the Shield as a faction. Look at what Roman Reigns and Seth have done.
Yep.
And then, like, yes, Moxley has done fantastic for himself outside of WWE.
Yep.
But, like, Seth and Roman are so much more household names than Moxley. I think he's clicking onto that, and that's part of what
He left WWE.
Exactly. But, like, he left to get what he wanted, but also he missed out on something that, like, everybody wants is notoriety.
But it's the age-old adage of being a small fish in a big pond and a big fish in a small pond.
Yes.
He's the big fish in the small pond that no one cares about.
To put it bluntly, yeah.
If
No,
you're
but the
going to
problem
try,
is how many big fish are in that small pond?
heaps of them.
Yeah, there's so many. Like
And
there's nowhere to swim.
If you're going to try and compare yourself to Roman Reigns, who's just come off a 3.5 year reign as the Universal Champion, and Seth Rollins, who is the first World Heavyweight Champion, yeah, you're not as big as them right now. You know, I don't foresee, Mox not being a good wrestler. I think if he does come back and they do a Shield reunion or they do, things with the three of them,
Stop it.
He'll be a Hall of Famer at some point in his life if that's what he wants to do and if he wants to come back into that sort of system. But if he doesn't and he wants to keep doing his death matches and stuff, I'm all for it. Like you said, he was in Mexico the other week with CMLL. He was over in New Japan. He's now their champion. He's even said, I'm pretty sure he's gotten the grace from Tony Khan that he's allowed to wrestle and defend it in New Japan, so he doesn't have to come back to AEW with the title and then go across. So he'll do a bit of both for the next few months.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's getting what he wants.
Exactly. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, I just don't care for him if every match he does, he has to do some stupid brainbuster and bleed every time.
Yeah. And I think, we've seen it from a lot of wrestlers who feel like they're underappreciated, underutilized. Is do something about it. Rather than just sit there and go, I'm underutilized. Do something about it. Go do a Cody, man. Do a Drew McIntyre.
When you tell people to do something about it, we have backstage incidents, okay?
Oh,
Calm
we'll
down.
get to
We'll
that.
get there.
We'll get to that. We're gonna
That
leave.
was a pretty good segue, though.
It was. We're gonna
we
leave
have
any
to wait
more
till the
NXT.
end.
We're gonna leave any more AEW stuff until later when we talk about the big news that everyone's still
Because you
talking
need
about.
the time to be able to get the editing done on the video so you can put the Mud Show Weekly up the top, right? Because we're
No,
definitely...
we're not. We're definitely not going to do that. But I mean, we're very close.
I mean, it's secretly, yeah.
we're not gonna
he's
put the
not going
time
to edit it in.
but again, we're very close to 100 subscribers. We're
We
like
are, we're
4
4
people
away.
off. So
We've got 96
please,
subscribers at the
4
moment.
people. Free hat. Free. I've got some hats at home. I don't know where you are, where you live, what your name is. Hit me up. I'll give you a free hat.
My partner said, once you get to 99, let me know and I'll be your 100th. I was like, no, we're going to give
let's
away a
get
free
subscribed
hat.
now,
And
Annie.
she was like, yeah, okay. I want free hat. I was like, no. I'm not going to wear a hat.
Sure, I can get any free hat. That's fine.
Yeah, there was one right there.
There is one right there. But really quickly, we'll touch on. We'll go to WWE and we'll touch on NXT first of all.
Oh, okay.
I think I mean, some of the big notes that I know that I wanted to touch on for NXT, obviously, was some movements that we've seen in different directions. I don't know if they're locked in yet.
Well, I think
obviously
the big precursor to this is WWE announcing that they're going to have a draft.
for an NXT, and NXT's included.
And NXT's
in the draft.
included.
Yes,
So
yes.
they showed on SmackDown? Raw?
Raw.
They had all 3 GMs.
Yeah.
So we know now that they are going to be drafting NXT people up and other people possibly down. And that's why these NXT shows now are a bit more interesting to see what happens because people are starting to show up there.
Well, that's the thing, I guess, is that if they're part of the... Yeah, well, I was going to say, the Bikey, who's a former Viking.
The biking.
The Viking. Ivar turned up.
It just comes out of a little push bike.
Well, because when I saw the video at first, I kind of went, who's that guy? And then I realised, I'm like, oh my God, that's Ivar.
It is a very jarring thing to see. Like when you see him in that Viking get up so much, and then you see him in normal clothes, and it's kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, you do realise that he is a normal person.
Yes,
right?
I know.
Like, he's not an actual Viking.
I know, and this is what I was saying to Ted off air. I was just like, yeah, he just showed up in his normal clothes. Like,
But I guess that's the thing. It's kind of like when Kofi Kingston stopped having a Jamaican accent.
It's true.
But like he did it on
there's no-
live TV.
There's no
Got called out
explanation.
in front of everyone.
There's no explanation. But I guess he looked at it and went, well, if The Undertaker can stop being an Undertaker and just become a Viking, why can't I?
Yeah.
Just change from being a Viking to a Viking.
I tell you, after that triple threat match at Stand and Deliver, I'm keen for that feud. Obafemi versus Ivar is going to be sick.
It'll be
Oh,
awesome.
for sure. And I mean,
Ivar's going to have some bangers down.
you even had on the SmackDown before WrestleMania, we had that Andre Memorial Royal Battle Royal Memorial Andre thing, where you had
Nailed it.
Have another camber.
Bronson, Ivar, and Otis, and they had that big meaty man slapping man meat moment. Like, he was involved in that. You know how much he can move. You watched the NXT one with Josh Briggs, Dijak, and Obafemi. Like, you throw Ivar in amongst those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
They're going to be cooking.
And then Final Testament also turned up.
Yes.
On NXT.
So, as a precursor to that,
Oh, this is where you ruined my tips for Wrestle Talk, you jerk.
Nathan Fraser and Axiom, after their match at Stand and Deliver,
Yeah.
went to Ava and were like, oh, can we have a rematch?
Yeah. Because
So she granted it.
Yeah. And they won.
So, yes.
Oh, did they? Did they really, Reece? What a great pick. Wouldn't it be good to
new
pick
NXT
them?
We have
Tag
new
team
NXT tag champs. The Wolf Dogs are done. That's where Final Testament came in, after they just won the belts.
Yeah, then they crushed them.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought it was
what
good
AFL
because,
does.
like, let's be real, that Final Testament stint on SmackDown was not the best.
I
And
think we need to get Karrion Kross as far away from Bobby Lashley as physically possible.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Can
I
look.
quickly touch on the main event from NXT and a theory that I've got?
Please.
What was it?
So, well, I say main event. I just meant the last segment of the night.
Because I'm pretty sure I watched this show and I can't remember it.
It was Trick Williams and Ilya Dragunov facing off. So essentially what it's led to is Trick wanted another title shot. Ilya's like, yeah, sure, we'll do it at Spring Break-In, their event that's on next week.
Sure.
It's going to be a 2-week event. Kind of like the
Oh, like the
pay-per-view
Halloween
thing.
Havoc one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So Ilya's like, yep, you can have it then, but if you lose, you leave NXT. And then Carmella Hayes came out and attacked both of them and like held up the title. So here's my theory. They're going to
threat.
keep that stipulation.
Yeah.
Winner gets the title, the 2 losers leave NXT,
And
and that's
Raw or
how
SmackDown.
Carmelo and Ilya Dragunov get called up.
Is that really a loss, though?
No, but
No,
like,
it's not.
Oh, I lost a match. Damn it, I'm going to go on TV every week.
Yeah, I go up in the rankings.
but that can be your way to just like put the nail in the coffin of Carmelo and Trick.
Yeah.
Because
I
I've
think
seen
you
a
need to
lot of
separate
stuff
them.
since Stand and Deliver that people were kind of let down by that match.
I wasn't let down. It was fine. But I think that like the feud was so hot.
Yeah,
Didn't quite
the
live
match
up to
couldn't
the
live up to the
standard.
hype.
And I think that you now need to separate them for a while to rebuild that feud together. And to do that, you can put Carmelo up on SmackDown, build him up as a heel or a baby face, however you want to do it. Give him a nice run of matches and stuff, and you think that he's just going to get somewhere, and then Trick shows up. That's how you reignite that feud in 6 months' time.
Okay. All right. Anything else from NXT?
No, that was pretty much the most important stuff I wanted to talk about.
And then obviously Ilya actually went and had a match
On Raw.
on Raw after Mania as
Yeah.
well against Shinsuke.
Yeah. And I kind of said this on my TikTok. We're in a new era, and I don't think events after Mania are going to be as surprise stuffed as they used to be.
Yeah, I kind of felt it was a good Raw after
It was good, but like I feel like we've always got that expectation. Oh, who's going to show up?
Yeah.
We're going to get
Yeah,
this
who's the debut?
surprise
What's the
debut.
Raw for-
Who's
yeah.
returning?
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. We got
We got Ilya and Roxanne.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I guess that kind of like feeds into the draft and the potential of them getting called up. So it kind of builds to that a little
It
bit.
does, but I also think
and then
maybe
there was a surprise appearance by Jade as well, her having a match on Raw when she's a SmackDown competitor.
yeah, but I mean, we just saw her at WrestleMania. Like, I mean, cool,
Yeah.
but I think that booking of that Raw after Mania pandered more to the casual fan
Yes.
than the marks like us that watch every show and do everything. The casual fan doesn't know who Ilya is. They hear, oh, the NXT champion showing up. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And they get to finally see a match of him. We've
Yeah.
seen him heaps. We know what he's like. We know he's going to be really good. So it's not as big a surprise for people like
I have to
us.
admit, I was a little bit like, oh, okay. I hope that's not the surprise.
I popped
That was
so hard for his music though. I was like, yes,
Yeah,
Ilya.
oh,
And
it's
then,
cool.
Well,
Like, and I get
just
it.
wait till he gets called up and it gets changed.
And it's not like it's,
Oh, like bloody
Yeah.
Braun.
Oh,
Don't. Death Rebel.
Oh,
I know, but there was initial. I need to go and listen to it separately, but I think his new
Sucks.
music might slap.
Nah, it sucks.
I don't know.
It's the same as AJ Styles' new music. Controversial opinion. Still sucks. It's way too slow to start. AJ's music. Don't like it at all.
I just feel like a lot of them don't have enough hooks in them that realize, I don't know if that's the right term to use or not. I just.
That's the right term.
right.
But there's no, you know what I mean? Like
most.
most, like, and the easiest one to use is like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Like with the glass shattering, or even Kevin Owens with that very distinct riff at the beginning of his, Undertaker with the gong, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You know who it is. You don't. You can literally just hear the start of it and you go, oh.
Yeah, well, we have the siren, so that helps, I guess.
With
With
yeah,
Braun.
until he's over. Until people know the siren means Braun.
Yeah.
Right now, they don't really know, so it's not quite as impactful. But you're right. The music these days lacks the if you smell or something.
Yeah.
Like, do you go, oh,
Like
bang,
just-
this
I know who
person's
that
here.
person is.
It's
Yeah.
just generic rock music to start with, and then you're like, oh, this is that person.
Yeah.
I just hate Def Rebel. Sorry.
You're not a fan, that's for
I've
sure.
been
Go
seeing a
check
lot
out
of
our
slack.
Def Rebel guess this entrance music
Is
video.
it even up yet?
No, it's
Oh,
up.
that's up.
It's
That's up.
Okay.
100%.
Well, I
It's
need to do some
100% up.
advertising on TikTok about that because I've
No,
seen
it's
a
up.
lot of TikToks about bashing Def Rebel. So
Oh,
I need
look,
to
yeah,
stitch
it's
it and be like,
definitely
hey,
up. Go
check
check
this out.
I will
Cheap plug.
1,000% defend myself that I created that quiz to bury Def Rebel.
That's
and I
exactly what he
think
was doing.
it worked
Oh, it
substantially
did.
well.
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively. So yeah, I guess we move on to some of the other WWE news, and we're going to be a little bit different because we're not just going to go through all the shows. We're going to talk about just the high points. So this might not be in order, and I do apologize.
No, you go, host Ted. You tell us what to do.
So the first thing I want to check is that did you guys seen the stuff, the teasers for Uncle Howdy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This is
How do we
exciting.
feel about these
I'm excited.
teasers?
I was initially skeptical if they were just going to do Howdy because we've watched the Bray Wyatt doco. You haven't yet, or have you?
No.
Okay.
I'm still
You
mentally
really-
preparing myself.
No,
I'll get you through it, but we need to watch.
Yeah,
this
no,
set.
dude.
need to
I've seen
You've seen this
I've
teaser
seen
at the end?
clips. I've seen a couple of clips. So I've seen the whole segment about his funeral,
Yep.
and that was the bit when I watched. And I went, "Oh my god, I need to be in a good place to watch this because
Yep.
it's going to destroy."
Have you seen the teaser at the end?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
okay.
so there's a direct teaser at the end, and I thought, okay, that's cool. But I was worried that it was just a teaser that we're going to bring back just Bo Dallas's Uncle Howdy.
The fact that they've gone into it so quickly.
But
I'm
but
pumped
this
for.
is the
Yeah.
fact, right? Because I think what you're getting at is that it says "Let us."
No, it said, "Have you forgotten us?"
Forgotten us. That's right. Have you?
you
Us.
you
you
forgot about us.
You forgot about us.
So that was the teaser that was on SmackDown. The one on the Raw was just hello.
Yes,
and
which is Howdy.
You forgot about us.
So could it be?
It's the Wyatt Six.
Alexa Bliss.
So it's the Wyatt Six.
Wyatt Six. So the theory behind that was, it was a while ago. It was going to be Bray,
Yeah.
Bo as Uncle Howdy,
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss as sister Abigail.
Yeah.
They were going to have Karen Cross in there, but I don't know if that happened anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
And then
going to be
they're gonna have
honest.
other people.
With what he's doing at the moment,
like-
probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Do
So
something
I think
else.
it's at least going to be Uncle Howdy and Alexa.
So
surely.
the two others that are very heavily named is Braun Strowman.
Actually,
right?
yeah.
So Braun
Oh,
is
bring back Big Red too.
he's
Oh
fit.
yeah, because there's rumors that he's been signed.
So
There's
big
rumors that he's
Big
been
Red.
signed. Yeah,
no,
Eric
no,
Rowan.
Big Red, Eric Rowan,
Yeah.
had 3 appearances, I believe, this week. Confirm me in the comments for me or not. He had 3 appearances for Independence that he cancelled this week after
okay.
WrestleMania. So the thought is that he is no longer an independent wrestler on the free market, and he may be returning back to WWE. And that's also the reason why they held Braun back from the Raw after Mania, because they've got this coming. So there's probably at least the 4.
Yeah.
Uncle Howdy, Alexa, Braun.
Whether they do like the Wyatt 6 or go a different route. But yeah, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
It's exciting either
Pumped
way.
for it.
I think
Like,
it's
that's
cool,
the
and I like the way that they're doing it through social media and how like it hacked the Twitter account.
Yeah, and then they're also doing the pre-show stuff that people
With the
are
music
recording
in
with the
live,
music
yep.
and then the lights going out in the arena and stuff. So
And I like that Dijak came out on Twitter and said it's definitely not retribution. we tried that before, it didn't work.
Do you think this will be used? Because like the first person they're going to go after is it going to be LA Knight, because that was the last person that wrestled against the Fiend.
Well, they haven't really targeted anyone yet,
no,
right?
I think it's too early. I think a lot of people have been saying that just because LA was Bray's last opponent, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's too early to dictate that. And whether LA gets into a position or not for like maybe a United States title or an Intercontinental title if he gets drafted, and then that's where they interfere and potentially cost him the match, and then that's how the angle starts.
I don't
But
think-
like even then, like
You don't need this faction around a title.
No, not necessarily.
no, but like not around the title, but they'll cost LA the title.
Oh, and then he can
And then-
feud with them.
Oh, okay.
That's how they
okay.
get to the
yeah,
feud.
Yeah,
but
but-
I don't think that if you're going to debut them, I don't think they're going to do it overseas. It'll be in the States. So it depends on when
You
LA
can
is
have
going for a
title matches on Raw and SmackDown. Mate.
Yeah, but it depends how far away, because we're not getting too deep into it, but we're pretty. I'm sure we could all
It's
agree
very
that
early
AJ is
days,
going to be
mate.
the first challenger.
I
for
would assume
Cody's
so,
title.
yes.
It's
Yes.
not going to be LA.
No.
But maybe that might be the Wyatt
And that's
the Wyatt family 6 that stop LA from beating AJ.
No, it's too soon.
No, it's too soon. And that's the thing. Cody directly mentioned that him and AJ are the only active wrestlers to hold the NWA and WWE titles. So that
And you also know,
solidified my rumor.
do you also know a very interesting
theory.
fact that AJ Styles has never wrestled Cody Rhodes one-on-one?
Really?
But he has
He's
wrestled,
wrestled his dad.
Dusty Rhodes.
You're joking.
2003 TNA. AJ Styles
Dead
versus Dusty
set.
Rhodes. Yep, 100%.
Holy crap, man.
They can really cook this feud.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's
And I
100%
think
happening.
this is the kind of, like, if they do it properly, this could be like the Cody and Brock feud of last year.
Yeah.
Where you have one sort of opening match and then you see how it goes. Then you have another one and probably a third one. And you do maybe, you straight up call it a best of 3 series or something between the two.
And
of them.
something along the lines of AJ beforehand goes in and goes, I've wrestled your dad, so I've wrestled the best, right?
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, essentially gives over to the fact that, yeah, no, you're better than your dad.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Eventually,
he
as you
beats
said.
him
Not
early.
straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Okay.
I like
Okay.
that feud. That's a good idea.
Cool.
Book it.
Take it, Papa H. It's all yours.
In some other sort of sad news, and this wasn't on any of the shows, this has just come out in the last sort of day or
Couple
two.
days.
Big E essentially has come out and said that his scans have not changed in the last 2 years. So his injury is essentially exactly where it was 2 years ago when he got injured. So,
Yep. He is pain free though, which is good.
which is good.
Yes.
But he has made the comment that there is a good chance that he will never be cleared. But
Edge,
yep,
Daniel Bryan,
Yep.
Paige.
Page.
they've all
So-
come back. I'm sure he's had
It's sad
conversations
for now,
with Stone
but-
Cold Steve Austin, like everyone else.
There is potential, maybe.
I think
Sometime down the line.
I mean, I'm not a doctor.
Get
or
on that
anything with the
DDP
spine,
yoga, mate.
but
It helps.
I'm guessing the difference possibly between, say, Edge or Page and what Big E is about 70 pounds.
Yep.
And I think
Probably more.
like let's be fair, it's not. I'm not saying like he's fat or anything, but like he's a lot bigger than them.
He's a big
There's
man.
a lot more muscle and stuff to carry around, and there's more.
There was a lot more
risk.
weight that landed on that neck.
Yeah, correct. So,
But also, can I just go back really quickly? You said you're not a doctor of spines or anything.
I'm not.
You're
no.
not even a doctor of thugonomics, mate.
I'm
So,
not.
Anyway. Look, it is sad because I know obviously Big E's very, very popular. It wasn't long before that he finally got the championship as well, WWE title.
Over 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We know now.
So, yeah, I think it's just a bit sad because it finally looked like we were going to get a good singles run from him and it's all come crashing down.
I just hope that they utilize Big E as a character on screen.
Yeah.
him
For
on
sure. Needs
those
to come onto TV in some capacity.
Yes.
Manager, commentator.
pre-show WrestleMania panels. He was fantastic when he was running around with the selfie stick in the crowd. Like they all
Amazing.
loved him.
He's got so much energy.
I also don't see why you can't put him on TV with the New Day.
Yeah.
Like he can be the manager, he can run around the ring, he's not going to take any bumps, but like, you know, he could, you know, clothesline someone when they're on the outside and stuff. Like he's not going to take a suplex or anything, but there's nothing stopping Big
But
E.
I mean, it could also be the fact that, you know, obviously now that it's TKO, there might be stuff of, look, we don't want to risk you even being near ringside kind of thing.
maybe.
Like we'll have you on commentary and stuff like that. It could be that.
Hey,
Who knows?
they had another injured person on commentary and got involved in matches that was ringside. So TKO, I think, might be all right with that, Ted.
Was he, is he
We'll
injured,
talk about
though?
him.
Is he injured? Look,
Yes.
yeah, very sad. So, one of the things we talked about when we talked about WrestleMania was the greatest main event of
This
all
is a
time.
roller coaster podcast, man.
It is,
just so
man.
you're aware. Like I have no idea what this run shit is.
No,
so
it's cool.
It's great
I'm
fun.
loving it too because then I'm getting very honest and raw answers, which is fantastic.
Superb.
You can see the surprise on my face.
That's
Yes,
a
I
screen
can.
grab. That's perfect.
You should, mate. You don't need acting classes like Cody.
No,
did,
I
man.
don't.
You should just get straight into it.
I actually got told that I should become an actor when I was growing up
Really?
because I was so dramatic when I was growing up.
That's
I don't know if that-
I mean, like
child.
you.
I don't know if that was a compliment, Reece. If someone called you dramatic, I don't think they will give.
No,
you a
but like
compliment.
you've played Fortnite with me. Like
I
you,
have.
you know how like expressive I get.
Generally, yeah, but it's not PG rated.
Well, no, but
a lot
like,
of
I can
expletives.
tone it back if I really try.
Depends what you get cast in, I guess. You know.
Thanks for throwing us on the
Anyway,
bus saying
back
that we
to
still
it.
play Fortnite.
Back to it. I don't play Fortnite.
Come play
by the way.
Fortnite. Ted.
Go on,
It's
Ted.
fun.
What are we talking about?
Well, we're going to talk about the fact that everyone was talking about the main event because it was amazing. It was the greatest main event of all time.
Are we talking about WrestleMania?
Yes.
Okay, yep.
At
Yep, cool.
WrestleMania.
I'm with you.
And the involvement of some of the greats and Hall of Famers that got
Yes.
involved in the match.
Yes.
And there was a lot of talk because obviously Undertaker
Yes.
took out The Rock,
He did.
which was a big talking point. And everybody sort of expected a certain rattlesnake was
Yes.
going to be the one to come out and interrupt and actually get involved with The Rock. And it has come out. Apparently, Stone Cold was in talks with WWE TKO to appear at WrestleMania, but they could not come to an agreement on price.
Couldn't afford the Steinweisers. What are they? What are they called? The Stone.
Steve Wise.
Steve
The
Weisers.
Steve Weisers. Yeah.
The Steinweisers.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother family.
Yeah, that's
That's a whole other family,
Steiner.
bro.
It's a totally different person.
Yeah, apparently they couldn't agree on price. I don't know any numbers or anything. I haven't seen
I
anything.
said
but-
this to Ted outside before you rocked up
Save for the podcast.
to your
boys.
house.
Jeez.
He said I'm very good looking, is what he said.
Yeah, of course he did.
He's best looking one here.
It's not hard to do.
I think it.
He's not wrong. Neither of you are wrong.
I think it worked out better not having Austin show up.
I think as much as we all said Stone Cold would be cool for the whole
Yeah.
Stone Cold and Rock thing,
The Taker thing.
there
just
there is
worked.
no tie-in for Stone Cold to the
Roman.
Bloodline.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Correct.
That's
Whereas-
why I came up with that crazy surprise segment where it tied Austin into it.
Yeah, which didn't happen.
But like,
But
all he had was his feud with The Rock. He had no beef with anyone else. Like any of the run-ins,
No.
nobody.
no,
But I guess that's also us assuming that it was talking with them to be involved in the main event. They might have been wanting to use him for something else.
no, he was in the main event for sure.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Absolutely. There's nothing else there.
What else? Was
I mean,
he
I'm
gonna
just
do?
giving discussion points.
Yeah,
This is
I
a
know.
podcast.
Yeah, no,
so
you're
we
wrong,
can't just
Ted.
go,
Shut up.
That's a fact.
Shut up,
But I
Ted.
mean, when you look at the Undertaker, I think we said this on the WrestleMania wrap-up. The fact that he'd feuded with like Yokozuna, he'd feuded with Rikishi,
Yep.
he'd feuded with
Rock.
The Rock, and then obviously he lost to Roman at WrestleMania 32. So he had a tie into this whole bloodline thing. So it made sense. Although
I mean,
it wasn't.
Stone Cold got run over by Rikishi,
Yeah, but Rikishi
who
never
did it for The Rock.
I did it for The Rock.
No, I get it.
for the
Look,
people.
Roman had a direct link with Undertaker.
Yes.
Like, Roman Undertaker, they fought at WrestleMania. Roman had beaten him, even though it had already been ruined by the fact he'd lost to Brock Lesnar.
Because he was the big dog.
So
That's
I think
his
it
job.
did work better, and I do feel that Stone Cold probably would have overshadowed it a little bit because he is so he's Stone Cold. For
He's
crying out
so
loud,
like
right?
globally loved.
Yeah, it would have taken shine away from Cody.
whether you're a
and Roman.
diehard mark like we are or just a casual fan, you know who Stone Cold is.
Goddamn.
Because I guess the other thing too, right? When you think about how that match finished and how they booked it, the gong hits, Undertaker, choke slam,
Yeah.
they both disappear, and
Yeah.
then Roman's left.
It
Well,
made
that's
more
that's the
sense.
exact same thing I said
What,
to Ted. I
what
was
happens
like,
with Stone Cold? Stone Cold
They would have
runs
had
in.
to fight up the ramp or something, and everyone
then
would
the
have
whole
been
crowd's
watching
watching
them.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
true. That's
so
true.
the way that it turned out was the best way for
But that's why.
to possibly.
But that's
go.
why I thought maybe him not going, maybe he wasn't even going to be involved in the main event anyway.
Nah, if you were going to have Stone Cold at that WrestleMania and he was away from The Rock and had no interference with The Rock whatsoever, no one would believe it. No way. He'd have to have gotten involved.
Yeah, true. True.
You couldn't have him, even if you wanted him as the host of WrestleMania, and he was just there and he was giving out stunners to Pat McAfee and Austin Theory at the start of the night.
Yeah.
The Rock shows up and Stone Cold doesn't.
Yeah,
None
true.
of us buy it.
True. Okay. Fair
like-
enough. It all worked out for the best.
I went back and watched Mania Night 2, like that main event. I showed it to Annie
Yes.
that same night
Yes.
after we'd done our review.
So you guys all doubled down on WrestleMania.
No, I just watched that match. I haven't
okay,
gone
right.
back and watched the full both nights. But watching that again, the pop for Undertaker was
Massive.
Yeah, it was huge.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard a pop like that in a very, very long time.
That was huge.
And I think that's
The
because
only-
everyone was
Until
expecting
about 6
thing-
minutes
the
later
only
when
thing-
Cody won.
The only thing
yeah.
that ruined it for me is the fan footage of him jogging away from the ring after.
pretty funny,
I
yeah.
was like, why did you share that?
So it was not him under the ring.
It was him under the ring.
It was him under the ring.
No, I've seen a video from announcing table and he comes.
No, it was him under the ring.
It was not.
No.
It had to be.
I saw footage from fans
Photoshop.
behind the
Yeah.
announce table
Photoshop.
of him coming and running.
Isn't that
to the
him
side.
leaving?
No, to the ring.
Maybe he's right.
He comes in.
So then who was under the ring?
Maybe it was Jimmy.
Maybe it was
Why
Hornswoggle.
fucking care?
Maybe it was Hornswoggle. Maybe it was Vince's son. Oh,
Can't say his
Hey,
name.
Village
Can't
Vince's
say his
son.
name, mate.
There's a lot of people named Vince.
He who shall not be named.
There's a lot of people named Vince.
VMC. VKM.
So yeah, apparently they couldn't agree on a price. Couldn't agree on a price on the Steve Weisers. So maybe next year.
Should have just given him a bunch of Steve Weisers.
Now, the other question that a lot of people are asking.
Are they?
Yes, a lot of people.
Are they? What is this question?
What did Rock give to Cody?
Me first. Me first.
Well,
first.
First
Unless
of all,
you've got a
before-
theory.
No, I mean, I want to hear your theory first because it probably will be better than mine.
like my
But
theory.
can I just say,
can't remember
am
what
I the
yours
only
is.
one who feels that his promo
awkward
and
as shit.
the whole thing felt real? I mean, the fact that the crowd
bad.
chanted,
This is
It was
awkward.
bad. It was bad.
It was awkward.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was bad. I think it was quite good, but then they kind of held on for too long, and it was already half
With the
an hour
whole
into
like
the
exchanging
segment.
belts thing, that's
But that was a
too
callback
much.
from.
I know.
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
get that, but still, because I
Was
didn't
it a
get
callback or was it just people making a connection out of nothing?
No, it was a callback.
No, but I also felt like, because I don't think anyone really, even if it was a callback, I don't think it made sense, right? Even if it was a callback, because people go,
That's very long-term storytelling.
well, it is, but it's in the sense of 'cause
11 years.
I would have put my house, even though I don't own one, I would have put my house if I had one, on the fact
guy.
that Cody was going to say, if you want to hold this, you've got to beat me for it.
That's
Or
what I thought he was going to say.
you know,
too.
you've got to earn it, or something along those lines. You know what I mean? You can't just be given it and maybe, you know, shit on his belt a little bit because he's been
Well, apparently
It's a beautiful
Rock
belt.
wants to defend that belt in a match.
Yeah, which he should do to Cody and lose it because Cody is now the new People's Champion.
Exactly.
Nah, Cody's a transitional champ. No, I'm kidding.
He's not transitional.
I'm done. I'm out of this podcast.
No, okay, thank you for your time, Mr. Daniel Danielson. It's been a pleasure.
Transitional, my
No,
Oh,
and
it's
look,
so funny that people
I
are
give
getting
you
to
shit
that.
about LA Knight. You don't start on Cody.
No, I'm joking, but I've seen people online are getting to that stage already. I'm just like, it's been
And-
less than a week.
No, but
guys,
can I?
calm
Yeah,
down.
exactly. And the thing is, as well, is there's no way that he's not going to hold that belt for at least half a year, probably plus. Yeah, because
at least.
this is similar to what you said when we were talking last year about Seth freaking Rollins and why is he the champion? And you said there's a 10-year-old boy in there.
Oh,
who
yeah.
wants. Cody's the same, man. You see all the videos of the little girl who was like, "They killed Cody. They killed Cody."
All the grown men crying over
Mate.
Cody winning.
He will
Us
hold that
included.
belt. Exactly. They will hold that belt on him for ages because it gets the kids to watch because the kids love him, right?
All right, back to
However, in saying that, I do think there's going to be some struggles because obviously he's not going to be the same Cody as he was chasing a title as he is holding the
Yes,
title.
and I think that's always one of the hurdles to get over when you have someone that's had a chase that's that good.
And that long.
Yeah, like being able to turn that into an interesting run. Like, no offense to Kofi, his chase was amazing.
Oh,
His
yeah,
run was
Kofi
trash.
Mania was the moment.
Yeah.
yeah.
Everything after that just flopped,
But
and that's why he got squashed by Brock Lesnar.
oh, I mean that I didn't like the squash
Oh,
that hard. But
no.
obviously,
No,
I might again might be controversial here, but name me a time when the championship reign is better than the chase. Like, what is one of the greatest things that we have for the last 10, 15 years of wrestling? It's the money in the bank. It's when are they cashing in? How long's it going? And the anticipation behind it. How many times can you remember that person's reign after they cashed in?
Yeah.
I remember Seth Rollins pretty well because I was fanboying really hard at that time.
Yeah, but like I can remember Seth Rollins' cash in. I can remember Edge's cash-ins. I can remember Ziggler cashing in on Del Rio. I remember all those moments. Can I tell you what happened after it? No, they probably lost the title.
I do think Cody probably needs to go on a bit of a Rhea Ripley run, though. I think he needs some good wrestlers that he just needs to beat.
I don't think Rhea Ripley had a good run, though.
Well, she didn't really get put up against the harder wrestlers, but you know what I mean. Like,
we love
she was
Mummy,
made to look
but
dominant.
I think he needs the matches, hopefully with AJ, a couple of really good matches on pay-per-view to prove that he can do a good 5-star match.
4.5 stars.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about Dave later. Without having to have Roman and stuff in the bloodline schmozzle behind it. But I also think it needs some time to build whoever the next lot of challenges are going to be. Because I think that Cody, we don't want him to necessarily just be the babyface guy that just knocks off every heel. Because I don't think they have a lot of big heels.
I think to have him have a really successful run, he's got to come up against really good adversaries.
Yeah.
And have adversity like what he had trying to get that title.
Yes.
He's got to have people dominate him.
Yeah. I hope they keep
Try and get that title.
whoever they're going to get to eventually maybe defeat him or to chase him. If it is the bloodline and if it's solo, which kind of seems like what they're sort of cooking on SmackDown, don't do it now. Take your time.
Take time, yeah.
We had the best part about the Cody run was that, although we all wanted it last WrestleMania, and a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people online, podcasts and everybody saying that last year's WrestleMania would have been 5 stars if Cody had have won. Right?
Yes.
And at the time, everyone thought that was the wrong decision. If Cody had won last year, WrestleMania 40 is nowhere near as good as it was this year.
No way. No way.
So
They knew what they were doing.
They 100% they knew what they were doing, and it was the anticipation and the build.
Yeah.
So let's not. I think I have said that I want to hot shot belts a little bit more, shorter title reigns. I don't want 4 years and stuff anymore.
Yeah, of course.
But I also don't want 3 weeks.
No, exactly.
Build Cody up, give him some time, give him some.
We don't want the hardcore belt from 1999 to 2001.
or the 24/7 title. I mean, chuck that on the US title, on
Yeah.
the IC title now that it's off Gunther. Like, go for gold on them. The tag championships, switch
Yeah.
them around as much as you probably want.
I think they're looking at more of building the characters themselves and, making them brands. You know what I mean? Like that person having the title becomes a brand and selling merchandise and all that kind of stuff is more what they're focused on now rather than necessarily just having a title jump around. So I think you're right. I think we will see, unless it's things like Drew having it for 5 minutes or whatever it was at WrestleMania, right? Stuff like that we'll get, but the rest of the time it'll take time.
I guess before we move off that Rock, I mean, we do have to answer the question.
Well, we've got to answer the first question. We skipped off a little bit because I wanted to talk about something else because this is the fun bit. But you go ahead.
I was just going to say, if we're going to build to a Rock and Cody match, is that next year's WrestleMania? Is that later this year?
SummerSlam, I'm hearing rumors of, potentially.
Well, Rock's supposedly filming until August. SummerSlam's like the 5th of August.
Yeah.
So
If that's the case, then
probably
probably not.
WrestleMania next year. I really think it will.
I personally hope that's
And then
Rock
do they
Roman.
do Rock Roman the year after?
Nah, you don't want 53, 54-year-old Rock doing that. I think this is Rock's 12 months.
What if night 1 is Rock versus Roman? Whoever wins faces Cody for the title on night 2.
Okay. All right.
Book it, Ted.
Sure.
I'm just saying,
Book
I
it.
don't know, man. I mean, that seems to be a bit of a
I could
thing,
just
right?
imagine literally every other person in the locker room having the shits that they cannot
Of
main event
course.
WrestleMania.
Again.
Because this happened
2
again.
years in a row.
So-
I mean, he's on the board now. He can do what he wants. So,
I think that...
What's in his hand? What did he give Cody?
yeah, that's the
Go.
question. What did he give Cody?
okay. Well, I was just
While
going
he's
to say...
giving his answer, though, and this is very sneaky, and we don't want the listeners at home to hear, but can you look up those silly star ratings that some idiot did for our next
Oh, yeah,
segment?
you
Because
did
I
that.
didn't get it on my phone.
There's someone-
Just while he's giving us an answer.
Before I go back to it,
We're not giving him credit, that's the point.
I think Rock and Cody is Survivor Series. That's where The Rock debuted.
That was something I was going to
So I think that either if they keep them out of whatever war games they're possibly building for,
But also because War Games was a Dusty Rhodes invention too, right?
Yes.
So that ties in with Cody.
Yes, correct. What I think The Rock gave Cody Rhodes
Yep.
is a lighter
I like this theory.
because he burnt down his RV.
He burnt down the bus.
Yep.
Don't you ever break my heart again.
But
It's
So
an
this is
interesting
where my
one.
theory comes in just quickly.
yes,
So we had Cody Rhodes
Yes.
on MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani.
Yes, that's
say
correct.
that he got matching Rolexes for him, Seth Rollins, and a few other people that he couldn't name.
yes,
My assumption
yes,
is that it was everyone in the main event tag match from night 1
yes.
and Triple H. Therefore, The Rock has smashed that Rolex that Cody gifted to him. And that's why he said, don't ever break my heart again. Because they had a bond exchanging gifts like that. Like, hey, this is the biggest WrestleMania ever. We're putting on this massive tag match.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
'Cause I had
beat
heard-
my cousin. You
Yeah.
broke my heart.
I heard people
That's
say
what I
it was the
reckon
Rolex that Pritchard and Triple H had found for him, but Cody was wearing.
He was
that.
wearing it.
Yeah,
so it doesn't
that's the
make
thing
sense.
about that. So that Rolex was the same model. It wasn't the actual watch that Dusty pawned, from what I've heard.
Well, I mean, they're telling the story that it was the same watch, but you know, let's.
Yeah. Well, like, and that's the thing.
What's
like,
Cody's line? The something becomes the legacy. Then
The undesirable became the.
no, not that
No,
line.
you don't think with that?
No, the one that he said. Oh, I'd have to Google it to find it.
Okay.
But it's like when the lie becomes the something, then you keep the lie. But I can't remember what it is.
No, it's all about me.
I have to
look
Google
it
this
up.
because it's really
Yeah.
going
But can I
That's what I
throw out a
reckon.
Go for your
really?
one.
I've also heard people say that it's one of the pods from the Ulafala.
I heard that. Yep.
Oh,
So from
well, the only
Roman's
thing
necklace.
I guess the only thing that got me right was that Cody's reaction afterwards. He was
looked
like
annoyed.
livid. You know what I mean? Like he's
that's why I reckon it was the watch. Like,
Well-
after I thought about it and remembered that he said that he got watches for other people that he couldn't name, I just assumed like he was trying to keep some sort of kayfabe and not say, "Hey, I gifted
Yeah.
the Rock and Roman bloody Rolex
But I
watches."
don't know how upset he would be and react like that if it was a watch, though. If it was a lighter, I get it, the lighter one, because he's like, he burnt my bus down. It was him. It wasn't an
I
accident.
feel like that'd be a great story.
The other one that I really liked, and I just want it to be true. It more than likely, it's probably not. But the theory I saw, I just that little mark in me went, "Oh yes, please." Was the fact that it was MJF's ring.
How would he know that it's MJF's ring?
Well, because he was the one who made that ring because he was in AEW at the time when that
But-
tournament happened,
I
and
get
he would
that.
know that ring, right?
But like,
And
would he know the feel of it?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so.
But like, what?
And the thing is, would he know what a lighter feels like
yeah.
Yeah,
to start with?
Yeah.
He's not a smoker. How would he know?
he has.
I know what a
he
lighter
has his
feels
own
like.
cigar brand with. What's his
He
face?
doesn't use piddly little lighters, and it had to be something small to fit in his hand. The way they were holding it.
Yeah, have you
Look,
ever seen like
just
those
cook
old,
with me here,
the
man.
flip-top
Imagine how
lighters?
cool it'd be if it was MJF's ring.
But like, how do you
and it
tie
was
that
him-
in? How do you tie that
Well,
in?
it's essentially The Rock is on the board of directors. He's hired MJF to come and take care of Cody until The Rock comes back to make life hell for Cody. Come on, man.
I like that you're cooking. I don't see it.
Yeah, of course. That's what I said that at the beginning. I said that.
This is me trying to link Austin to interfere. Like, I just don't see why it would happen, and then it didn't happen.
Imagine if
So
it
guess
does.
what?
Imagine
It's
if it
not gonna
does.
happen.
No, I don't think it will, but I think it would be kind of cool if it was.
be
I would. My money is on it's a lighter.
I think
And
we were.
that's-
All,
burnt
I
the
think
bus
we were
down.
all hoping for
burnt
MJF
the
to show
bus
up
down.
on Raw. But yeah,
Um,
I think that would be the most logical, like the best story route for them to go with that lighter and the bus situation.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
You would think so.
I can't find this quote. It's going to irritate me.
No, that's all right.
Look,
Moving
somebody
on.
put it
Too
in
late.
the.
Too
Put
late.
it. Huh?
We're moving on.
I
moving
don't want to
on, yeah.
move on though because I really like this quote.
We've got to
Okay,
because we've got a lot to go through.
Okay, sorry.
I
Look, if you
too
can find
remember,
it before the
but
end of the
don't.
podcast, sure, you can share it. But we're going to go on.
Don't get too distracted.
The other big news, obviously, was the fact that Tama Tonga turned up on SmackDown and
Bro.
aligned himself with Solo and attacked Jimmy. So Jimmy,
I had suspended my disbelief
bloodline.
during this segment because I was so caught up on my theory that Motor City Machine Guns were going to debut on
you were so
SmackDown.
determined that was
Yeah,
going to
you were
happen, weren't
certain.
you?
As soon as
It made
like
sense.
Nick Aldis said they were in Detroit, I was like, oh, because they're still free agents. But yeah, when he came out, I was just like, oh, holy shit. And like all the theories and stuff
Yeah.
coming out about what this story might potentially build to
yeah,
just excite me. Even
Solo versus Roman, obviously, at some point, it's got to be, right?
Yeah, so like the main theory that I'm seeing is Rock's bloodline versus Roman's bloodline.
Yeah, the OG versus.
So it's going
Yeah,
to
that
be
makes
Rock,
sense.
Solo, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu. I know I did say Roman, Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy, but I've
Yeah.
also seen people think that Zilla Fatu is going to get signed.
Yep.
And apparently there's rumors that WWE are keeping their eye on Hikuleo
Yeah, right.
over
Yeah.
in New Japan. So
Okay.
to make it just purely
I think that's where they're going
family-based,
to.
that would be sick. But everyone's saying that's going to happen in War Games, and I do
Yeah.
not see The Rock doing a War Games match. Just putting that out there in the
I mean,
world.
but maybe it's his team, but he's not actually in the match himself.
Yeah, I think the best way to do it, because like if you're gonna do 4-on-4 with Rock and Roman in the ring, do it as like a tribal rules match.
Something
call
along
it?
those
The thing is, like I just
Tribal
said,
warfare, whatever it
The
is.
Rock debuted at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't think
like-
he's got enough time to be back in time for SummerSlam based off what his movie schedule is.
Like, would you see him in a bloody War Games match?
Why not?
Rock in a War Game. He's
He can come in last,
Dude,
dude. He
well,
can come in last.
the tag match and stuff, all he did was he just walked around, he threw people against tables and stuff. It covered him
If
completely.
he comes in, remember Randy came back and was in the War Games match. And
did like 3 things.
Yeah, just RKO. I remember the RKO.
I guess
of
you
JD
can cover
McDonough.
it pretty well if he comes in last.
Yeah.
well,
You
assume it to
the
be
very
him.
last person in.
I think
That way
that-
everyone's all stuffed by the time he gets in there.
Yeah, I think that OG versus New Bloodline is a good plot twist.
Yeah.
I don't want Sammy in there. I know he was the honorarius.
Let Sammy go do some other stuff.
Don't put Sammy back in there.
Yeah.
If you have to do it, I think it's Rock and Cody. And somehow you have to have a way where Cody and Roman have to work together to beat The Rock.
I've seen theories about that
something
as
like
well.
that.
And I think
So-
that might work because it's kind of what happened last year with the War Games too, where Seth and Cody didn't like each other and they had to work together to beat the Bloodline. So
I can already see the lines that Cody would say in there about if you want to team up with someone who knows about being overshadowed by a family member, you got me.
Yeah,
I know what
he
you feel like.
does.
Look, I
Maybe.
liked in the segment itself though the whole thing of looking at the details, right? So they attacked Jimmy, which now makes sense as to why Jimmy lost as well to Jay at WrestleMania. But the fact of
cooking
him
this, mate.
smashing
Cooking.
Paul Heyman's phone when he went to try and call
that was so
Roman
good.
Reigns,
Yeah.
like all those little details.
And like that's the thing, like the backstage segment after Paul Heyman checked on Jimmy,
yeah.
Tama Tonga came and said, by orders of the tribal chief.
And
That's
then
the
Solo
Rock.
stepped in.
That's the Rock assuming the mantle of tribal chief because
Or is it
Roman's
Solo?
lost.
Oh, yeah.
No one said it's The Rock.
No,
Is
but
it Solo?
that's the thing. They've kept it very.
And that's
he,
the thing,
he
like,
acknowledged, but we
we-
don't know who he was
we
acknowledging.
thought-
do we?
This was all like teetering off. We thought the bloodline was going to slowly fizzle out. They're cooking stronger than ever, mate. I'm pumped to see where this shit goes.
As
be
long as
great.
they, I hope they don't drop the ball with it. That's the
And
main.
getting some new blood in there.
Ooh,
pun intended.
Clever. All right. Well, while Dan's still looking for this,
I'm not gonna find this
amazing quote that no one else remembers.
Mate, if it's
Let's-
that amazing, how did you forget
I
it?
hate all of you guys so much. I
Let's
really
get on to our
Shut up
second,
and have a nap.
our second last subject.
Right,
Second
here we go.
last?
Let's
Do I
ju-
even want to
let's just
say his
talk about it.
name? Dave Meltzer.
Uncle Dave.
Uncle
Meltzer
Dave.
came
Uncle
out
Dave.
with his ratings for WrestleMania 40, known as XL, the greatest WrestleMania of all time, as we said on our video of recap of WrestleMania, which you go check out on YouTube and Spotify.
Command the floor.
Now,
So
no,
it's-
hang on. Before you command the floor, I will get you to
I'm
go
just
through
gonna
the.
acknowledge
I will
him
get you through the
commanding
numbers.
the floor.
But the first thing that we need to, obviously touch on is
Fuck
the
Uncle
fact
Dave.
that not one match got 5 stars. Not one.
Can I explain why?
Because
'Cause
it wasn't in the Tokyo
It wasn't in
Dome,
the Tokyo Dome and it wasn't in New Japan.
and there was no blood.
And there was no Kenny Omega. Or Will Ospreay.
Or Canadian Destroyers.
Correct.
Or backstage footage.
Was there a Canadian Destroyer all weekend? I don't
No.
think there was.
There was,
I
I think
don't
on
think so.
Stand and Deliver, maybe, but
Oh, no one actually
But it wasn't on WrestleMania. That's the main
Yeah.
thing. And no backstage footage of people having a disagreement. So
We'll get to that too.
It can't be 5
I
stars.
can't wait to-
All right,
I need to rush through this because
Let's
I'm about to wet
let's go
myself.
through it. Rush through them, and we will make comment as we go.
Night 1, Rhea defeating Becky, 4.25 stars.
I don't mind that one, to be honest, because I don't
I'm
think
happy
Becky
with
was
that.
at her 100% best.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Well,
Yeah.
Charlotte last year was 4.5, wasn't 5.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
No, that
about
that
right.
one, yeah.
The ladder match, also 4.25 stars.
I'm also okay
Yep.
with that.
Happy with that. Rey Mysterio and Andrade defeating Dominic and Santos, 3.75 stars. I think that's maybe a little generous from my perspective,
I'm okay
but
between
that's also because like
3.5-ish.
everything else was so good. I feel like that one just didn't live up to. And
But I think
we also
I think
overcooked.
the
man.
ending sort of
We overcooked.
threw it off a bit. Yep.
We overcooked on that.
But so
one.
far, the
I'm happy
scores
to
have been
admit that.
good.
That's
but
fine. Yep.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
Usos, 3/4 of a star.
Wasn't even 1 star. I don't think anyone argues with that.
No, no.
damn.
I'm only going to argue
Do you want to go
this.
less, do you?
I'm going to argue this, that there are worse matches that he has given
More.
1 star to.
Yep.
Like some of
Lawler versus Michael Cole at WrestleMania.
correct. He gave
Wow.
more stars to
Didn't
that.
think of
He gave them 1.
Yeah, I think
1.25?
so. And there was some other one that I saw at a news thing that was like really
And you
prominent.
would think that something that is seen as a tribute to the Young Bucks would get a few more stars, wouldn't you?
Look, 1.5 stars. It's not a good match at all, but I think he's under 1 star is possibly just making a little bit of a deliberate go at this.
Oh, 100%.
The 6 women tag match got 2 stars, which I think is
Yeah, I mean unders.
I think
but
that was a bit rough.
Yeah,
I would
I
have
think
gone
at
with
least 3.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn defeating Gunther 4.5.
I think that's unfair. I know 4.5 is good, but that should have been pushing 4 3/4 to 5.
Just remember the last year Drew,
Yeah.
Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther did not get 5 stars.
I
either.
know.
It was
I know,
not better
but it
than
should
that.
have.
It was not better than that though.
It should have.
Yes, it should have.
But anyway.
Main event tag match got 4 stars.
I reckon the Gunther same match is better than that.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
that it got half
Okay.
star more, so I'm happy with that.
Yep.
And also, like, it went 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of down points, so 4 stars is fine for that.
Now let's
tag
get to
match.
night 2.
Which we all agree,
Was the better night.
perfect night of wrestling.
Yes.
Best night of
Perfect.
wrestling we've watched.
It was perfect.
Drew defeating Seth.
This one gets me.
5 stars.
3.5 stars.
That's a joke.
Bullshit.
That is a joke.
Did not even rate the cash in because it's a
Well,
cash in,
yeah,
so you
that's
probably
fair.
wouldn't.
But there's no way that whole segment's not 4.5 stars, at least.
Yeah.
Just the way they built that entire match, all of I know it was a finisher fest, but like the tension they built in
Sometimes
that.
those are good.
But that
Yeah,
was, but
that's
that
what
was
we wanted.
good. But no other match was like that. It was all the matches, whether they were good or bad, were very individual in the way they were
Yeah.
done. Like we talked about this.
Everything
on
stood
our
out because of its own
episode.
key
Yep.
achievements. Moving on. Bobby Lashley and Street Profits defeating Final Testament. 1 3/4 stars.
I thought that was rough.
Yeah, that's rough for what it was.
That's pretty rough.
2.5
mate.
stars.
Yeah.
Dave, sort your shit out. Fuck.
Mate, that was an AEW style match. It was chaos.
And that was
How
just-
did he not rate it?
LA Knight defeating AJ Styles. 3.5 stars.
I thought that was
fine.
pretty rough. I thought there should have been a 4 at least.
Yeah, I'm happy with that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Logan Paul retaining. 4 1/4 stars.
So what was the ranking again for Sammy Gunther? 4.5?
4.5, yes.
Yeah.
4.5.
4.5.
Okay. So this was almost as good as that, they reckon.
This next match matched that as the highest rating for the weekend.
Which was
Oh, wait, no. That's not the highest rating. Never mind.
good.
Bailey and Io, also 4.5 stars.
Nope, that was good.
I agree.
Yep.
Definitely
Agree.
better than the LA Knight AJ Styles match.
Finishing the story 4 3/4. What
It
could
couldn't
they
even get 5.
possibly have done to get that extra quarter star?
Canadian Destroyer.
Bleed. Dude, that was the one that got me more than anything else. I actually have to say, a lot of those other
Like,
scores...
watching that back, like we were drunk when we watched it live.
Were we?
I watched it back sober,
Spoilers.
mate, and I popped even
No,
harder.
that's what I mean. Like watching that back sober, that match was fantastic.
Yes.
Yep. The thing that gets me is
I'm
that
not talking
he
about it
has-
anymore. I'm sick of Dave and his
He
stupid
has
fucking
given
star
out.
rating.
He has given out 6 stars. I believe he's even given
7?
out 7 stars.
He has.
So how the hell this doesn't even get 5 stars? It's absolutely beyond me. The man has lost his marbles.
Oh,
If he had any to begin with.
he hasn't lost his marbles. He is deliberately not giving WWE
Of course.
5
He's
stars.
on the payroll for AEW, man. He's got
Oh,
to
he's
be.
been on there for years.
He's got to be.
years, mate.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of the star ratings. I think some of them hit the mark, but that one particular and the Drew Seth one got me completely. Because that was after the main event, it was my next favorite match before Gunther and Sammy. Those were my 3 absolute favorites for the whole weekend. Drew and Seth were absolutely ripped off with that.
Yep.
Right? Like you can see why there's a lot of wrestlers now
This
who don't
is
even
why.
want to say his name. So
Well, that, and this is why I just stopped caring about star ratings a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because it's just
well, did you see
the fact that one guy has
Yeah.
such a powerful hold over the entire wrestling industry with this flawed ranking system
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
That's
Yeah.
completely at his own behest, whatever he chooses.
Exactly.
There's
It's
no-
just absolutely
like you can't
stupid.
say that. Oh,
There's no
it's got to
consistency.
have this to get this star, and then this
Yeah.
to add this star, and these sort of things. Like it's got to have this amount of near falls. There's no grading system that we know of. It's just Dave goes 4 stars.
Yeah. Like I've seen
he's about as consistent as the weather.
I've seen other wrestling outlets try to explain like why they gave it rankings. Like he's like story based,
Atmosphere
based,
and
and
crowd.
all this sort
Yep.
of stuff. Like I see him giving that breakdown of why a match got this amount of stars for different wrestling outlets. But nah, Dave's just like,
Look,
Nah,
I
whatever.
love Will Ospreay.
7 stars, 6.5.
I will absolutely mark out to Will Ospreay match.
Yeah.
I think he is.
Oh, they're
brilliant.
fantastic.
The fact that he has 39 5-star matches is crazy.
Favoritism.
But he's also very good.
Favoritism too.
But you cannot tell me that the Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay match, as technically brilliant as it was a better wrestling match
Yeah.
than that main event of WrestleMania.
Exactly.
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Exactly.
It was.
That's it. Case in point. Case in point. All right, well, let's move on. Let's not give him any more airtime. He's got his own bloody podcast.
Well, we
where
have
can
to
do
talk
that.
about his favourite company now, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We're on the hour, boys.
Because we are going to talk
We're
about...
going to talk about this for half an hour. We might have to split this off into another segment.
I think 15, 20 minutes should be enough.
All right.
I think 15, 20 minutes should be enough.
Will it?
So brawl-in footage. All right, let's just set the stage for this. It was announced...
Macho!
I'm not putting the macho sign up. It was announced by Tony Khan, I believe, on X that they were going to be showing
And this
the
was...
footage on Dynamite.
Did they announce this on Saturday?
They announced it on Collision during WrestleMania.
Right, okay. So after the MMA
after-
hour.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a few days after the MMA hour.
And obviously, I guess that was the precursor to this, was the fact that CM Punk went on the MMA hour with Ariel and was talking about this incident, which Ariel asked him. CM Punk didn't come on and go, I want to make a statement about it. He answered a question that
and you could sort of see
journalist
when he
asked him.
was talking about
He didn't
it.
want to talk about it.
Pretty much didn't want to talk about it.
So, we get to Dynamite, right? It was announced they were going to show it. The Young Bucks are doing it in a segment. What were your initial thoughts of how this was going to go down when you saw that the Young Bucks were going to do it? Because can I just share my initial thoughts were, I was hoping against hope that I thought, is this going to be a swerve where it's going to be some really poorly edited video that's just going to be a joke? And they're going to have like
circles and stuff on it.
and they'll have
Yeah.
like a joke face of CM Punk that's not actually his face, but kind of looks like him or something, and them and sort of punk the
South
crowd.
Park style.
Yeah.
So I pretty much had the same train of thought, but I was like, man, I hope it's just a work and it's just some dumb video that they've made up.
Yeah.
Because if they're actually going to do it, like I could see them actually doing that because it's
Yeah.
AEW and it's Tony Khan. But I was hoping that it would just be a joke. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And that's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. What did you think was going to happen? What was your assumption of
So-
when they said it? Did you...
I hadn't really made any assumptions. I'd done my research as soon as it was announced, and then I looked around and all the people online, Sean Ross Sapp, Meltzer, etc. And it was like, no, it's the actual footage. And I was like, great. So they're going to show the footage. I was trying to think, how can they show the footage in a way that gets TK what he wants? Because essentially, what TK wanted to do by showing this was prove his point that, CM Punk's the bad guy. I was fearing for my life. AEW is, we were the victims here. And then turn it hopefully into a storyline thing somehow with the Young Bucks. I think that watching it, that didn't work.
No.
Well, hang on. Before we get to that, I'm trying to step this out
Okay,
because there's
okay.
different bits to talk about before we get to once you've...
I'm very invested in this. I really am.
No.
Lots
I
of
get
opinions.
you are. And
You can
I
take
think
the lead on
everybody
this.
is. I think everybody is.
I will.
Go for it.
So, obviously, looking at a lot of the podcasts, like, Busted Open, 83 Weeks, all these guys talking about it, I think they all reacted very similarly in the sense of once they found out it was the actual footage, they were all a bit, this is not going to go well. Now, in saying that, though, there was some really good points. Conrad Thompson brought this up. He was saying that one thing they did do was obviously everybody was talking about AEW, which obviously was one of the goals of this, right? And let's agree, they did that.
Well, the ratings went up.
Everyone
They
talking
had
about it.
over 800,000 views. The ratings went up in the core demographic by like to
no.
0.3 or something.
No 900.
No, 900. The question to see if this ratings kick worked is that number there next week?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the thing we're waiting for, which we all assume not going to happen, right? Yeah. So now let's get to actual Dynamite, right? We've seen the footage. It's been tied into a storyline with the Young Bucks. I believe they were in the ring, and they said, "Let's look at that." And it was played up on
they were backstage.
It was backstage,
segment.
and they played it on the
FTR
monitor.
was in the ring.
But they
after.
played it on the
Yeah.
Titantron, as you call it out there.
CM
And
And
there was
obviously,
CM Punk.
now
CM
it was just the full footage of
Yep. No audio.
Jack Perry coming back. And I guess the thing with this is, for those who haven't seen it, you can find it maybe.
No.
Maybe. We'll get to that.
Like,
Maybe.
it is very hard to find.
Samoa
at the moment.
Joe's there just pacing in his ring gear. We've got Aubrey Edwards who, for the first time ever, Dan, tried to get out of camera shot.
Yep.
Other referees were there. There were other just random people standing
was
around. Jack Perry obviously comes back. You see who is obviously CM Punk because he's wearing the CM Punk jacket. Approaches him. They seem to be talking. There's obviously no audio. And can I just say,
Flicking through his hair.
everything that Punk said happened has happened.
It happened.
He said, I shoved him in a I can't let you get too close moment. And then put him in.
Okay.
Now hang
Jack
on.
Perry didn't.
Yeah.
on Punk's side, Jack
Yep.
Perry didn't make a single move toward him.
No.
But we
he
have no audio, so we don't know what he said.
Well, exactly. But now, can we just say though, Punk never said that Jack Perry made a move at him. He said that Jack Perry said, "Well, why don't you do something about it?" And Punk went, "We're really going to do that? Is that what you want to do?" So he never said that Jack Perry attacked him. He's never said that, right? That's never come out.
It was never in self-defense.
Correct. So first of all, the video obviously backs up what Punk said. Now it actually went very
in a way,
quickly.
yeah.
As well. It was a very
10
quick
seconds it was
altercation. People pulled apart. We believe that Mr. Tony Khan was off screen to the
That
right.
is 100% where he was sitting.
Right?
Because at one point in the video, you can see someone lean forward and try to fix the monitor, and
Yeah.
he's got Tony Khan's hair.
And you can see Punk says something to someone in that direction, which a lot of people have assumed was him saying, "You're a clown, this place is a joke, I quit," which is what he said happened on the MMA Hour. Now, going back to the fact that it was shown by the Young Bucks, there was chanting in the arena of CM Punk
Yep.
while this played. How do we feel about...
I think
the segment?
AEW just put over the biggest babyface of the opposing team's, company
think-
in their own show.
AEW are putting one of the final nails into their coffin.
Yep.
It
I
is
don't
getting
know.
really...
I don't think it's that
no,
bad, but-
like between that, Will Ospreay, which we'll touch on soon, and also Mercedes Moné, like this Dynamite was just absolute
It was garbage.
trash.
It was garbage.
And honestly, it's got me to the tipping point where I, don't really want to watch it
Dan,
anymore.
Dan,
I don't want to put in the
touch,
effort.
We can touch on that now.
Except for that Will Ospreay Claudio match. That looks like it's
Well,
gonna
we can
slap.
touch on that now because so when they announced that the video was about to be played, Tony Schiavone had very obvious body language of
And,
why
like,
are we doing this?
Tony was there during the worst times in WCW. He's having Vietnam flashbacks, dude.
Yeah. He is.
Like, he knows what this does and where it leads.
The ship is
And
sinking.
I'll be also fair with it. I'll give the Young Bucks credit for trying to make a storyline out of it. But the fact that they called
work well.
They called Jack Perry the scapegoat. He was wearing the scapegoat T-shirt. They're trying to make it at an angle.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're fully invested. And it's come out since that
It's a weak angle.
they were
man.
never against, or they didn't want to show the footage. But when Tony Khan was, so from everybody online and every place you look at, Tony Khan is the one who wanted to show this footage.
I've also heard he's the one that wanted Ospreay to cut that promo.
Correct. So it's all Tony Khan.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks were like, okay, if we're going to do it, let's at least do it properly. I respect them for trying. It didn't work out.
No, it didn't work.
Same as the FTR. I think they came out and cut a promo because they had to cut a promo to back that up to extend the storyline because we were distracted in our match because we were being EVPs settling this fight down. Horrible angle, but
when they weren't even in the footage.
I didn't even see him in the
They weren't
video.
Ridiculous.
you could tell though that FTR weren't too chuffed about having to do this. They didn't want.
of
They
That
didn't
seemed
want
like
this.
genuine distaste.
Absolutely.
That they had to be out there and cut a promo about it.
And like you said, you saw Tony Schiavone's face. He didn't want to see it. I think the noise from a lot of people backstage is they didn't want to show it. There is a lot of AEW stuff that aren't pleased that this has happened. And I think that, like you're saying, this is the nail in the coffin. It might be a stronger nail in the coffin that Tony Khan needs to step back from creative.
I think it's now in his coffin.
Because I think the AEW wrestlers are saying we shouldn't have done this. This is bad for our business. And when they don't get the rating spike next week and they prove that point, someone needs to grow a big set and walk up to the billionaire and say, hey, just pay the bills. Let us do the wrestling.
Yeah.
You pay the bills because
Not
this
even let
was
us
a
do the
bad
wrestling.
decision.
Let us book and like get someone who books, not us maybe. Don't get the wrestlers to do it, but
Tony Diamone.
someone.
He's out.
Scott D'Amore.
Scott. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I just want to my little stance here because
please,
I am the
please,
big CM Punk
please.
stan of this podcast.
And you're Dynamite Dan.
And I'm Dynamite Dan. That's fair. I'm not defending CM Punk, right? He should not have attacked Jack Perry, right? I have had altercations with people at work. You have arguments with people. You're not on the same wavelength as someone. You can disagree with people. It doesn't mean you can put hands on, regardless of what office situation you're in. If it's an office, a work site, a school, whatever, you can't do it, right?
Yeah.
So CM Punk is in the wrong for attacking Jack Perry.
Yeah.
Do we know what Jack Perry said?
No.
Specifically to instigate it? No. Does that really matter? Not at all. All in all, though, Punk, like we said on the podcast, said this is what happened, and that video footage pretty much says, "Yep,
Yes.
that's what happened."
Yeah.
So I don't know what Tony Khan was going to get out of this at all,
Yeah.
because all he's done is verify what CM Punk said happened, And CM Punk did it.
Yep.
And CM Punk wanted to quit, and he got fired, and he's now back with his bigger company,
Yep.
and he's back home, and he was going to headline
Like, that's the
WrestleMania.
thing,
He's got
like-
everything he's wanted. What is this doing for Tony Khan?
Punk wanted to leave long before that. So
Yeah,
like
he did.
I've been in a situation similar to that where you don't want to be where you are and you have to just sit there and stew in it because you can't get out any other way.
Yep.
Like it gets to a boiling point, and that was CM Punk's boiling point where he tipped over the edge. I had something similar happen, but I chose to just walk away and leave my shift 2 hours early. That was my boiling point. I didn't touch anyone. I didn't say anything to anyone. I just walked out.
And
I think
like,
what
I kinda-
what this has done too, though, because what they've tried to do is they've tried to isolate the incident. So it's just the incident between CM Punk and Jack Perry. And if you go back and watch all the niggling and instigating of comments and the way people acted towards CM Punk on all the shows, going off script and doing those other things, it was a culmination of everything. It wasn't just what Jack Perry had done in that moment. It was literally a culmination of all those other things that went on and got to that boiling point, and it all boiled
it's
over.
just like
And again, I'm not trying to defend someone like he.
No, I agree.
But as you said,
hands-on,
he
it's bad.
did exactly what he said he did, and we know in this modern era, we see it with politicians all the time. If they don't deny that, oh yeah, of course I'm a bit racist or whatever, people actually connect to that and go, well, at least they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
And
I had a few too many beers
It'll
and
have
passed out
something
in
similar
Braddon.
with CM Punk where they go, oh well, yeah, okay, he assaulted a guy, but he told the truth about it.
nice reference.
Yeah, it was good. That was good.
I think that we have to put a little bit of respect on Samoa Joe's name for all of this. The way that he broke it up, obviously, and
Pulled it
and
apart.
pulled it apart, but also like
Went out and had a 5-star match.
pretty much what he said was what Joe said to him was, sort this shit out. If this is your last match, let's go have your last match.
Let's have a banger.
And they did.
Yeah.
So like,
was a great match.
Fully respect, and then, I mean, obviously he's now the champion, and he's head of the company and stuff at the moment in terms of on screen. Joe's getting his flowers for that, but I think he needs some really him and Hook to a degree for the way that they handled all that situation, because Punk look he flew off the handle, he looked a little bit grumpy, but they sorted it all out.
Yeah.
It really was a kerfuffle of nothing.
Yes.
Like, let's be honest, like I said, it was 10 seconds. It was-
Mate, I'm sure if you
think that's
spoke to
kinda like-
most wrestlers from back in the, not even just back in the day,
Oh,
from
back in
any
the day.
time, I'm sure they've seen much
way
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
In like gymnasium wrestling, they've probably seen worse. Let alone something that's filling up Wembley Stadium for a record crowd, for crying out loud.
I think
Like,
it's kind of something that Kenny Omega touched on in that live stream that he was
His
doing while he
Twitch
was
stream.
gaming. He essentially, and I think more so like because you're in that sort of physical field where you're like beating people up for a living, letting off steam like that just happens sometimes. And Kenny has said like he's seen it happen. He hasn't been in that sort of situation, but he understands why it can get to that situation.
Well, I mean, that was him kind of also talking about the brawl out stuff or the brawl in stuff.
Yeah.
Because he was obviously saw that, and he said in his Twitch stream and stuff that he's still got respect for CM Punk. Like those two have never had any issues. It's
he said
other
there's a
people.
mutual respect, he believes.
Other
so.
people have issues with Punk that he does. So, look, the next thing to touch on for the mud show that was Dynamite was Will Ospreay's promo.
Just so many levels of cringe.
This
dude.
was a good promo if you cut out the first minute where he talks about Triple H.
Yeah.
The big thing here
I
was
didn't watch past that. I turned it off.
yeah, fair call. So I think it was on the Pat McAfee show. They asked around some of the free agents and stuff coming into WWE.
Yeah.
And what Triple H had said essentially was that there was some people in the free agent market, and I think this was him just being a little bit salty that he didn't sign someone, right? Essentially said that, he's hearing that people he said that I get lots of scout reports. I see everything. People are watching for me. They're letting me know what's happening on. So of course we're looking for the best talent. That's why we're the biggest company in the world.
Yeah.
But if people want to work lighter schedules and do different things and don't want to do the grind of what WWE is, that's fine. That's
Get
not
more
what,
money and work less is, I think, what he said.
Yeah, and he said, that's fine. That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like that
And if
was
you listen-
like
and
a very nice way to put that.
And if you
I don't feel like there was anything
listen
malicious.
to Ospreay on the Chris Jericho podcast, he said he had an offer from WWE and he had an offer from an AEW. Money was about the same, and he said, but AEW let him travel home, so live in England, come and travel, do his shows, leave when he wants to.
Yeah.
It was a lighter schedule. And he even said on the Jericho podcast, I respect the people in WWE that do that grind, that go, shows, house shows, media, everything. I couldn't do that. I fully respect them for what they do. That's not what I want to do.
So Triple H literally was just saying what he said.
What Ospreay had already said.
right.
And then TK or someone said, hey, go out and kind of think about him grinding on Stephanie.
But can you?
Oh, it was so childish.
Renee Paquette, did you see her?
She
Her
hated it.
reaction.
Her reaction.
I showed that
wanted
video.
To just go into a hole. She's like, this is just awful.
I showed that video to my partner, Annie. She has like no clue about anything in the wrestling world, pretty much. Even she thought it was cringy.
It was.
Yep.
Grinding on the boss's daughter.
Like, and anybody knows, like, who knows Triple H and knows his history and how he got to where he's got to. He dealt with that shit 25 years
was
ago.
also
He
the-
doesn't need
Yeah,
that
but it was
shit
also
these
in
days.
storyline in WWE that would have been agreed upon before being said.
Yeah, it's
He was
just...
also the world champion before he started dating Stephanie too. So it's not. Yeah, look,
I guess the fact that this happened on the same show for me as well.
terrible
it's
timing.
kind of like wow.
Terrible
Yeah.
timing.
Wow.
Oh,
I love Ospreay. He can cut a really good fiery promo as like that underdog. And the stuff that he's been doing with Danielson is great. I can't wait for their match at Dynasty. But shut up with this stuff.
Yep.
The other thing too, and the key point to make around this is that Triple H made that comment on the Pat McAfee podcast or on ESPN or something, right? Not in WWE TV.
Yeah.
But AEW have, and same as Punk. Punk was on El Helwani's podcast.
Yeah.
AEW now have taken TV time,
Yeah.
sponsored, paid for TV time on TBS. to
costs
their
a lot of money.
that costs a lot of money to have shots back at WWE that they just made when they were just chatting to someone in a podcast.
Exactly. Not on air.
Childish.
Not on air, but not on air of their TV shows.
Because, whatever, Punk said is not in canon to WWE.
No.
It's not on the TV. So why are they making a thing of it on another TV show when WWE... It's
I'm not
just...
saying that-
oh, it just
yeah,
hurts me.
like,
Hurts my brain.
before you got home, we were talking about it, and it's like it's becoming very like even more so in the past than in the past. Sorry,
Yep.
Tony's the problem.
Yeah, we said this. We've said this for a while.
It's just and it's becoming more and more obvious that he is the problem.
And I know...
Something needs to be done
The
for that
third
company.
part-
'Cause we do not want that company. Like as much as we like to shit on AEW sometimes.
Do we all want AEW to work,
We-
man?
it's competition.
Exactly. We want them to work. We want them to succeed. Back when like they were doing Daily's Place all the time during the pandemic, and then after that, once the crowd starts coming back, mentioned to Ted like that was good TV.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching AEW during that time. Let's get back to that.
If AEW goes out of business, that's a lot of now unemployed top line wrestlers. A lot.
The thing is, and this is we didn't agree on Adam Copeland being the one cutting that locker room promo, and he's kind of come out saying that it's a young locker room. He wanted to be as the veteran guy to go out and say it. I don't think it was right coming from him, but essentially his whole thing was this is where the best wrestle.
Yeah.
So AEW, shut up and wrestle.
That's what they should have done.
You've
Yeah.
got like your Dynasty pay-per-view, you've got Danielson against Ospreay, you've got Swerve against Samoa Joe, you've got Pac against Okada, you've got the Young Bucks against FTR. It's going to be a sick pay-per-view, but just shut up with these stupid promos
Yeah.
and
Wrestle.
focus on what happens in the ring, because I think we've said this on this podcast several times. WWE are the kings at the story.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes' story has been brilliant over the last 2 years. AEW got close with MJF, and that's about it. But I don't think any of that MJF Adam Cole story was TK. I think that was MJF.
Yeah.
Their stories aren't there. But in the ring, yes, they do 5-star matches. So focus on your 5-star matches.
Yeah.
And focus on your ranking system where you have your best wrestler against the next best wrestler and you put on a really good match.
Yes.
Because people will watch that. That's what we want.
Agreed.
We don't want any of this other shit.
And could you imagine a tournament they could run? Because I know they've done other tournaments. They've done the Continental Classics and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But could you imagine if they actually had a tournament for like the AEW World Title and how stacked
completely.
that could be?
Yep.
With someone facing Samoa Joe for
Like look
bloody
out.
Adam Copeland, Bryan Danielson, Castagnoli, John Moxley. Like you could chuck him in there as well, right? So you got the combat clubs all in there.
Yep.
Now we've got Will Ospreay who's in there
Okada.
as well. Okada, like
Eddie Kingston,
Eddie,
Pac.
you chuck all those people in
Kenny
a
when he
tournament
gets
for Christ's
healthy.
sake and run it for 6 months. Just do a tournament, and just have good wrestling matches, and people will watch it, and at least have some form of story that they're wrestling for something.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, like
that
just
simple, man.
They've got the people there. Just do it. The other thing I wanted to touch on really, really quickly about this whole thing was that I think one of the biggest mistakes that the Young Bucks have now made, because obviously they're friends with Jungle Boy and Jack Perry, and they're
They
trying
are,
to get him
yes.
over. And there's potentially a storyline of him coming back in all of this, and that's the point. How
He
would
was
you
pretty
feel?
over at that show in
He
Chicago.
was, but how would you feel? Because you know he's going to go to buildings now where they're just going to chant CM Punk.
Well, they chanted CM Punk in the FTR. I mean, in the Young Bucks match.
Yes.
I think for him to get through it, he's just got to embrace it. He can't try and fight anything negative.
Dude, he
that
came up with a
comes out from it.
Chicago flag and a
Like, that
jacket
was-
that said Crimea River.
That was
like,
fantastic.
He
Like,
can't lean into it anymore.
But I think in
He just
saying
needs
that,
to
though,
keep
if he's
it
going to
going.
lean into it, and obviously Punk's then going to be like, great, you're using me to get over. Like, it's not even you again. Do you think there would be an opportunity, and do you think he would be big enough that he could reach out and go, well, let's bury the hatchet then?
No.
Or do you think CM Punk wouldn't accept that?
Give
Not that CM
Jack
Punk's
maybe
in
5
the
to
right.
10 more years before he even gets to that stage where he wants to try and bury the hatchet. He's too young. He's too naive
Yeah.
to give a shit about that.
I think Punk will just laugh and scoff at it. I can't wait to see what Drew McIntyre says about it, to be fair. Like,
Oh,
Drew's
he's
going to
gonna
tear
make
this
something
apart
out
at
of
some
it.
point.
And like that's the thing, you
You're
hear,
going to say bruv too at some
you
point?
hear about wrestlers all the time, like when they're younger, they say and they do stupid shit, and they realize when they get older, like, oh, it was stupid. Like
Like CM Punk's doing now.
Punk and Triple H bury the hatchet.
Yes. Yeah.
It will get to that stage at one point between Punk and Jack Perry,
Yeah.
but it will not happen for a good 5 to 10 years at least.
The last thing I want to talk about before we move to whatever else Ted has on his fantastic run sheet.
That's
This is
it,
the
man.
last-
This is the
Okay.
last thing. This
Talk
is
about
it.
moaning Mercedes.
Moaning
Oh,
Mercedes
here we go.
Monet. This was atrocious.
I haven't even seen what you're talking
this-
about.
this-
So
I've
just
I
seen
can't
the
wait to
moaning.
check it
Okay,
out.
so if you haven't watched Dynamite, don't, because it was terrible.
Yeah.
But watch this week.
If you watch Wrestle Talk podcast, Ollie Davis from there is probably one of the biggest AEW fans that I know. He's a massive CM Punk fan. This is the lowest rated Dynamite from him ever.
Yeah, okay.
Probably the lowest attended Dynamite ever as well.
Possibly. It was terrible. So this Mercedes Monet segment, I question the entire thing of Mercedes Monet in AEW because they signed her in February.
Yep.
She's not going to wrestle until Double or Nothing.
Yep.
It's like 3 months. Why would you
I
sign
thought
her?
Double
put her
or
on-
Nothing was in May.
Yeah, it's after. Yeah, sure, whatever.
But still,
Oh,
that's a
from
distance.
signing it. Okay.
That's a distance. Yeah.
No,
No, I
3
get
months.
you.
It's
No,
okay.
it's just that she debuted
Quick-
so soon
quick
ago.
maths.
Like,
But
no.
like she's been on TV and she's been cutting promos and stuff, but she hasn't done anything. And it's really boring. Like you've completely wasted her debut. Why have you done this? It's stupid.
why the TBS title?
I don't know. They're trying to make it better or something and put it over and
Yeah.
have her back.
Didn't
in
Jade
WWE.
already
It's a
do
good
that
question.
before she
It's a good
left?
question.
Anyway, this promo she cuts terrible. Second point of why this is such a bad promo is that it's done by a single cam and it's
Who has one camera?
a cheap podcast like us. Is it Kevin? I can't remember his name. Kevin something
Dunn?
or other. No, it's not Kevin Dunn. The guy who's been doing the backstage interviews with the Young Bucks and
Yeah.
Okada and stuff, right? So he's not great to start with. He's not Renee Paquette. Yes, that guy. He's not Renee Paquette. Sorry. Anyway, so he's sitting there and he's asking her questions and she's answering like she's the CEO and the boss and stuff.
Yeah.
But it is filmed on a singular camera.
Yep.
And when she's talking, the camera zooms into her face
Yeah.
and then back in. And then back in.
then back
And then
out.
back.
That's what this was.
And then back in.
Put your left
I was
foot
being
in,
the camera.
And then
put
back
your
out.
left
And it's
foot
not
out.
it's not like if you've got a dual camera set up for a thing where you switch between
Yeah.
the shot. No, it is zoomed in,
Zoom out.
zoomed out.
Zoomed
Zoomed
in,
in.
zoomed out.
It's terrible. It is the most poorly shot, terribly read promo I've ever seen.
Now, can we get what's this about moaning? You're talking about moaning. What's
Towards
going
the
on
end
here?
of it, the lights cut out, and then she gets attacked.
Oh.
And all you see is the lights come back on,
Yeah.
and the camera zoomed right into her face, like on the
Yeah.
ground, and she's just lying there. I'm not going to moan because we don't need that on the internet.
Yeah, baby.
But essentially,
But, like-
she's just like and then just moans.
But not just moans. Everyone thinks it's very sexual.
Oh, it's a very.
I'm gonna have to go and check it out. I'm gonna have to go
Just
check
don't
it out.
have Morgan in the room.
Oh no, I'm gonna pre-warn and go. I've been told that this is what's happened, so that there is no awkward.
It's so
The
bad.
problem with this episode of Dynamite that we like, maybe it was just a chance that we're just gonna get all that shit stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
But like this brawl-in footage backfired massively. It
Yeah.
was not what everybody wanted. No one backstage likes it, and I think all it's done is made CM Punk a bigger star.
Yep.
The Will Ospreay promo was terrible. It's taken some of the juice out of his promos and stuff and made people more awkward because you don't want to be starting a war with Triple H.
Dude, Papa H is loved at the moment, man. He's
Correct.
loved.
And this was a terrible, terrible promo of Mercedes Moné that's given absolutely no benefit to her against Willow or against Julia Hart or whoever they're trying to set it up to be, because it was really bad.
Yeah.
So this was just a absolute mud show of an episode from AEW.
Edge versus Penta apparently was really good.
It was fun. Yeah, it was pretty
Adam
good.
Copeland.
The one highlight from the
The
show.
fact that Edge hit a couple of luchador moves was like cool. I watched him do like some head scissor takedowns and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
that's
Canadian Destroyer as well.
not, there was
But
one.
it was actually
Off the
done
ropes.
properly.
Yeah, code red. Yeah. It was
And no one kicked out of it. There was no pin and kick out, I believe.
Kenta squashed. I mean, not
Yeah.
Carter squashed someone. Pac came out. There was all the good things that
what
happened.
they-
thought
but that's
Pac
what they
was
should
injured.
be doing though, is
Okay.
just focus on good wrestling. Like as you said, he came out and said, "This is where the best wrestle, 5-star matches, blah blah blah." Just focus on that, then do that and prove your point. But we're gonna have to wrap it up because we have gone over the hour 20 mark now, I believe.
We have.
That's fine.
I'm sure our
I'm going to split it so I can get good clips.
Okay. Well, it's
Good man.
About the hour, from the hour
and
onwards, it's the
we
Mud Show
just
show.
need 4 more subscribers. It might
Four
be
more.
less by the time this comes out to hit
Pretty
100, and we'll
please.
have a big old celebration
Pretty
with a big old
please.
banner. Let us know what you think about this week in wrestling. Let us know what you thought about the star ratings from Mr. Melter. Let us know what you think about the Brawl-In video. How did you react? How did you feel? Do you
new
think it was that
Bloodline?
bad?
Excited?
Yeah, are you excited for the new Bloodline? Are you excited for Tamatonga? And the big question, what did Rock hand Cody? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us on Down Under the Mat podcast here in Madison Square Garage, around the pool table of relevancy. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Danielson.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rowdy Reece. I'm Booker Ted. We'll see you here next time. Are we ready for the woe? Are we going back with the woe, or are we going back to...
Well, what we're going to do the LWO.
yeah.
The,
Wait, how do we do this?
You go.
you, go,
I
you,
go
go,
in?
you go to me.
Yeah.
And we go in.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Go, baby.
That's going to
That's
take
great.
too long to
That was
set up.
great.
That's terrible. Bye, guys.
See you next time.
See ya.